Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Ignite the Mic. My name is Charles. Today I want to go over my e-bike, my other e-bike. I've gone through quite a few of them. I've gone through Rad Power, which I still own and love. I've had inexpensive e-bikes from, I think I bought from Craigslist. Didn't cost a whole lot. It was fun, but it didn't last. It died on me. My Rad Power doesn't give me the performance that I need. I needed something with a little more power. I do commute from New Jersey to New York daily, and I just wanted something with a little more power, gives me a little more confidence. And so I decided to do a bit of research. Something that I know can handle cold weather, can handle wet weather, and can handle going over the George Washington Bridge, and with the possibility of registering legally if I need to. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the Super SOCO TC. Now this bike is next to impossible to get in the United States. It is mostly sold in Europe. The kicker here is they partnered up with flyebike. As you can see, their logo was on it. Changed a couple things up. Well, actually, they didn't change a darn thing up. All they did was stamp their logo on it, and presented us with this wonderful bike. Now, if you're not familiar with this bike, I'll put some specs in the description. But essentially, and I kind of go back and forth with this. I read it has about 1900 watts nominal with a 3000 watt peak in this motor here, which is a wonderful motor. It's a Bosch motor. It does have front and rear hydraulic disc brakes, which is great. They work very well. It has turn signals, because this is something that you can register here. I do have the appropriate documentation from the store to allow me to register this bike. It does have a huge front headlight, which I'll show you that in a minute. It has 17-inch wheels. It has the braided lines for all the brake lines. As you can see, there's a double brake line on this one, and I'll explain that in a minute. It does kind of have I believe that's like a cooling system. But again, this type of bike is a little beyond me. I'm more used to e-bikes. It does have pretty nice cushioned seat, potentially for 2 passengers. It does have the rear peg for allowing someone to ride on it. Now, as you can see, the alarm is going off, so I'm just gonna disable that, and I'll go over that in a minute. It does have the back plate mount for a license plate. On this side, again, it just shows the TC logo and the Fly e-bike logo. And when you get up to here, now I took the factory mirrors off because I broke them. I'm clumsy. I do still have these hand guards, which is kind of cushioned inside with the plastic waterproof on the outside. It is cold in New York. Today's a nice day, but overall it's cold. It's cold, so this comes in handy. This has have a pretty convenient display, which show you speed in both miles and kilometers. We're in the US, so kilometers aren't very useful to me. Only thing I really added, in addition to these things to protect my hand and kind of aftermarket mirrors, of course I added the phone mount sideways. So let's power it up. So to power it up, it comes with 2 sets of keys. A key that allows you to open, and I'll start with that, the seat and the battery compartment area. So you need to open the seat, stick it in. You'd open it in the appropriate direction. In this case, it reels the seat. Now the seat doesn't have a whole lot under it, kind of the release mechanism to allow the seat to come off, and then some wiring associated with the bike. So that's kind of what's really under there. Now, put that seat back on really quick. Now we take this key out. What we have in here, if you switch that key the opposite direction, is a little compartment. And it's a convenient compartment because this essentially comes off. This allows you to store small little items. I'm just gonna place that down. And inside here accommodates 2 batteries. Now I have the 60 volt, 30 amp hour battery. I think that's the only one you could get with this bike. And it does allow for a second battery, which I believe they do work in parallel. It doesn't give any more power, but it does give quite a bit on the range. So I'll kind of give you a demonstration. It's pretty simple. Once you pop this bag out, because you need as much space as you can, you power that down fully, and you release this high voltage cable here from the battery. You're required to put the key in this area here to first release the battery. Now the battery is released, then you would simply take this handle here, pull the battery outward in this position, and you've essentially released this battery. Now this is a big, heavy battery. This is not something you'd want to typically do unless that's just your thing. But I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to show you that you can also not only charge this battery outside of the bike, but you can charge it. You just got to remove that cable out of the way first. But you can also charge it while it's inside the bike. Now I know I didn't show this before when I was releasing the key or releasing the battery latch / compartment latch, but you put the key in, turn it, that lid pops right up. Everything is revealed to you. Nice and convenient. And that's how you get into the battery and everything else you need to get into. Now, I forgot to turn the power back on. That's important. So I need to release that, open that up, main power switch, back on. Now I mentioned earlier that you can charge this off the bike, or you can charge this, rather, the battery while it's inside the bike. There's a charging port conveniently right here, and the only way for this to actually charge is not while the actual charger is plugged in, but I have to go through this step again. First we release, it releases, take this out, remove this. Now there is a black cable inside that is kind of a power pass-through. So we would need to first shut it off, disconnect this cable, and then plug this cable into this compartment. Seems like a bit of work, but it's the way it has to work. And once you've gone through those steps, you can then go ahead and use the 4 amp hour charger that came with it to charge it on the side like I mentioned. Okay, so now we're going to turn this on. And to turn this on, you need the key fob. Now this is a push to start vehicle. So the only thing you need to worry about is either locking it or unlocking it. In my case, I'm going to unlock it because you have to unlock it one time, and then you proceed to push the power button. Oops, a little slower. And it goes through its song and dance, kind of gives you kind of like a car, all the various different instrument items, if there are any error codes, anything like that, and then boom, it is on. Now, if you can see this well in the video, right now it's in mode 3. Now, I know I have a lot of the controls that could have covered with this bag, but if you can see behind here, this has 2 reservoirs for the brake fluid, and it has a number of controls on the steering wheel. I'll put some just pictures up because I really don't want to release all the tying and have to do that all over again. But essentially, it does have 3 modes. Right now I'm on 3rd mode, which is where I primarily drive in. I can't imagine in New York or New Jersey driving any of the other modes, but you do it, it gives you a much longer range. Now it's in, the range is listed in kilometers. You know, you kind of have to do the math on that one. Right now the battery's at 93%. All I did was ride to get a cup of coffee and some food. So that's how that works. Now this has automatic lights. Right now the lights would not be on, so I'm going to force them on. I'm going to kind of show you how they work. So this has a primary headlight, which is pretty bright. It does have a high beam, and I'll show you that in a second. It does have the halo lights, the daytime running lights rather, which is on at the moment. Right now I forced the headlight on, which is showing you the standard low beam. And it does have the turn signals. So let's kind of get those turn signals showing. So it does have the, of course, right and left LED turn signal lights in both the front and the back. It also has a light for the license plate. It has a tail light, and it does have a brake light that does activate once you hit on either left or right side of the brake. Now, speaking of the brakes, I do want to mention that this particular model, which I forget the acronym for it, I'll list that, it allows, or has the ability to press on, I believe, the right side. It will activate both the front and the rear brakes. And I guess the way it does it is it kind of does a pass through this brake line back through to the back brake somehow. But I'll list that on the screen for specifics. Now it also has a I think they call it an inverted fork. So the front suspension is it's not the best. It's okay. I mean, this is essentially a glorified e-bike. It does also have a coil over suspension in the center of the bike, which I believe is pretty adequate actually. Besides that, overall build quality, I believe is pretty good. Got a kind of few scuffs, no big deal, cosmetic, that's easy to fix. Seat is cushiony and comfortable. I am about 171 pounds, so I believe it's, you know, for me it's okay. I can't speak for a heavy rider. The bike gets up to about, I want to say, 45 miles per hour. I mean, that's if you're lucky, that's on a good day. It averages about 35 miles per hour, but it can get up to about 40 miles per hour on the speedo. I believe it is limited. I don't know. That's the speed I get. The company themselves advertise it as a top speed of 38 miles per hour. Maybe that's for legality reasons. The build quality, like I was saying, is pretty good. This is all plastic. It's decent plastic. The painting is pretty good. This area right here, I don't know what's in there. It might just be for cosmetic, but it is solid. Where you rest your feet is pretty solid. The kickstand is pretty solid. Now, this does have a kickstand that once it's down, it will not allow that bike to move. So let me just turn that turn signal off. Right now, it's in park mode. And the only way to get it out of park mode is to flip that up, and now it says it's ready. So I'll flip that back down, and it is in park mode. And that is a convenient feature because once this thing is at a standstill, you don't want to accidentally press that throttle when it takes off. Now, most people will see this and consider this a motorcycle. If you're into motorcycles, this is kind of not for you. This does not have a clutch. This does not have gears. It just has one simple throttle that gets this thing moving. And it moves pretty well. It does not have a whole lot of torque, which is fine for me. I just need it as a daily commuter. It's comfortable. It's price. Now, oddly enough, when I purchased this thing, it was about $3 grand. It seems like it may have been a Christmas special or some type of deal. Fly e-bike now lists this bike for $3,100. $199 with the single battery. It's about $4,099 with dual batteries. Now the battery is big. This battery is going to add quite a bit. And if you care about range, you might want to get those dual batteries or hold off and buy it later. It is something you can buy later, but I don't think you can buy it from anyone else other than Fly eBike, because like I said, no one else sells this thing. I haven't been able to see anyone else in the US sell this thing. Now this is a great bike. If you want to do your research on the Super SOCO TC or just the Super SOCO brand in general, go take a look at it. They make some really good stuff. I'd highly recommend it. And that's my review. Just to note that, and I think I may have kind of shown before, I've put in 402 kilometers so far. Now I will put up on the screen what that is in miles for my fellow Americans, but people overseas and everywhere else in the world, you'll know exactly what that is. So I appreciate it. Thank you everyone for allowing me to take the time to review this bike, and I hope you enjoyed what I had to say about it. Now it's time for me to kind of just enjoy the park. I originally came here to kind of go over this bike, but I do come to this park often. It does have a pretty nice walk trail. I did get some breakfast. My coffee was a little hot, so I had to let it cool down. And now I just want to explore the scenery. I'm at the path where you can see the opposite side of New Jersey, which across the Hudson River is New York. So let's kind of take a look at that.